12 News Plus, I'm Mark Armstrong. The 7th Street Baptist Church in Nederland, it's on fire right now. Crews, they've been out there since around 6 a.m. trying to put out the flames. That's where we find 12 News reporter Cameron Burchett. Cameron, what you seeing out there?
Mark, as you said, we're live here at the 7th Street Baptist Church in Nederland, where it is up in flames, just as you said. Smoke is billowing from across this building where crews have been fighting this fire since around 6:30. And as you can see, as we take a look behind me, we have a crew from Port Arthur tackling that fire from up above what seems to be the side building of the church. But again, there has been so much smoke from this fire that you can't even begin to see where the church begins and ends. It's a massive scene with other agencies like Port Arthur Fire, Port Neches Fire, and Groves Fire, who are all here lending a hand. Nederland Police Chief Rod Carroll tells 12 News that crews were called out to the fire around 6:30 this morning after reports of smoke coming from the roof. Luckily, according to a post from the church on Facebook, everyone is safe. However, some parts of Nederland Avenue are blocked while crews remain working to put out the fire, so please avoid the area. Pastor Kevin McWilliams spoke to 12 News as he waited while his church continued to burn.
There's so many different ministries our church does for the community. We love Nederland, and I'm sorry. My thought process. I'm kind of still in shock from it all.
The pastor promises to rebuild the 7th Street Baptist Church, a church he says has been around since 1954. And again, crews are still continuing to fight these flames, as we don't know what the cause was that led to this massive fire, which is off of Nederland Avenue on 7th Street in Nederland. So please avoid the area as crews continue to work this fire. Live in Nederland, Cameron Burchett, 12 News.
All right, Cam, our thoughts and prayers are with that historic congregation this morning. Thank you so much. Well, all this comes as a winter storm spanning 2,000 miles is impacting millions of Americans. It's hitting southeast Texas as we speak. First it was rain, then there was ice, and we are also keeping our eyes on the power and taking a look now here. And this is actually the Drive Texas map that we are looking at right now. This gives you a good indication of the road conditions that are out there. You notice in the bottom right hand of your screen, that's our area. You only see a few dots, those gray dots, indicating advisories there for travel where it is not advised in just a few parts of the northern part of our viewing area. But to the north of our viewing area and to the northwest, it's a blackout there on that map right there. Not safe to drive in those areas. So we'll continue to check in on that. And of course, we are here throughout the morning with the latest updates on the forecast and the conditions. That's why meteorologist Jeff Gerber, he's joining us now to take a look. Jeff, how is it looking out there? I see you've got Jasper up there on your screen. How's it looking out there?
Well, that's probably the hardest hit area that we've been seeing for this morning. That 190 corridor through Woodville, Jasper, over towards Newton. Those are the folks that have been getting some ice, some freezing rain and sleet for this morning. You can see the buildup a little bit on the grass. The roadways even got a little bit of icy buildup on them. And then you look back over here, you can see some of the trees with the ice built up on it and the rooftops with the ice on it. So these are the areas that travel is going to be tricky still, especially the bridges and overpasses. If you don't have to be out and about in the lakes area for today, then I would just stay hunkered down. And if you do have to be out and about, especially the bridges and overpasses, be careful. Just take it slow. Once you get kind of south of, say, 190, maybe all the way down towards Kuntz, and then looks like all we've been seeing is just a very cold rain out there. We're almost done with the rain. You can see definitely the lakes area is fairly much cleared out of the precipitation, and we just have a little bit left here over Jefferson, Orange County, maybe southern parts of Newton County, and then the rain will be pushing out of here, and the rest of the day looks like it's going to be dry. So precipitation ending, but then we're going to have to deal with the very hard freeze for the next couple of nights, long duration freezes as we drop well below the freezing mark. And then as we head towards later on this week, we'll see some showers, but that should just be rain coming in on Friday with another cold front. Here's a closer look at radar, and you can see right now there's not much precipitation left. A little bit left over here around the triangle. Lakes area is cleared out. Temperatures are at freezing or just above. Around the triangle here, we're above freezing and right at freezing now in Jasper and Woodville. Don't expect temperatures to rise too much there, maybe a 1 or 2 degrees. So that frozen precipitation up there should almost stay in place throughout the day. And down here around the triangle, we don't have to worry about any frozen precipitation. Just a little bit of rain to get through before we start to dry out a little bit. As far as wind chills, winds are kicking up, and it feels like the 20s out there. 24 in Jasper, 25 Beaumont, 29 in Orange, and 26 in Port Arthur. Around the rest of the state, here temperatures, not wind chills, but actual temperature in Amarillo is at 7, Wichita Falls 8, Abilene's at 9. And you get closer to the coast, you're seeing some 20s and 30s out there. But it is definitely winter is here in Texas for this morning. The wind chills up in Amarillo, -10 in Childress, -9 in Wichita Falls. Wind chill at -13 right now in Oklahoma City. So it is cold across the Lone Star State. Here's Texas radar, and you can see a lot of Texas is clearing out of the precipitation. You can see it all moving off towards the east. Still a little bit of possible light snow out towards West Texas along a little weak disturbance there. But we're going to be clearing this out here pretty shortly, probably in the next half an hour or so. And then we'll just deal with the cold weather as we head towards later on tonight and going into the next couple of mornings. Futurecast takes it all out of here and holds us pretty much there into the lower 30s or right around 30 up towards the lakes area through the rest of the afternoon into the early evening hours. So we won't get much warmer or we won't get much colder through the rest of the day. And then once we get into the evening, that's when we start to see those temperatures start to really fall off. And we're expecting a lot of cold weather coming in the next couple of mornings. We're talking about well below freezing, temperatures dropping down into the upper teens and lower 20s for a couple of mornings. For the rest of this afternoon, precipitation is going to be ending here, like I said, shortly. Northwesterly winds at 10 to 15 will keep those wind chills feeling like the 20s out there, even though actual temperatures will be, like I said, near freezing towards the lakes. Also towards the inland southeast Texas, we're looking at some middle 30s there. And then down here around the triangle, our temperature is going to be there into the middle 30s by the afternoon. So we won't have to worry about any frozen precipitation here in the triangle. And we'll see that stuff probably remain through most of the afternoon on the power lines and the trees up through the lakes area. We'll be probably sitting there through tomorrow afternoon. Once we get into tomorrow, temperatures will get up into the 40s or at least the upper 30s above freezing in the lakes area, and that should melt most of that precipitation and get it out of here, if not sooner. So we're getting the rain out of here, the frozen precipitation is out of here, and we're just going to be dealing with the very cold weather as we head towards later on tonight and then again on Tuesday or Monday morning and then again on Tuesday morning. Patrick Vaughn's going to be coming up. He's going to be talking about the duration of the freeze we're going to see over the next couple of nights. He's also going to be checking in on the 7-day forecast and letting you see the warmer temperatures coming up towards the end of the week. We also have a small chance of rain, and then looks like another cold forecast as we head towards next weekend. I don't know if we're going to have to deal with the precipitation with the cold weather, but definitely looking at some cold temperatures heading our way as we head towards Saturday and Sunday or next weekend. Like I said, Patrick will be up here in just a minute or two, and he'll talk more about that.
All right, Jeff. Well, we are concerned about the lakes where more than 5,000 people without power right now. So let's go ahead and check on the conditions in Jasper County. That's where we find 12 News reporter Spencer Plato. She's along Highway 190 across from the Jasper Memorial Hospital. How you doing this morning, Spence?
Yeah, good morning, Mark. It's really cold out here. I do want to make note that the road kind of does look like, if I turn the camera a little bit this way, it is a slushy mix on the road. We have seen quite a few cars come down, some driving fast, some driving with caution. But earlier this morning, it was pretty icy, especially on the sides of the road, and you can kind of see right in the middle. It's a little slushier, a lot of standing water, a lot of puddles. I do want to also make note that we have seen a lot of TxDOT crew come down 190. I've seen some treatment trucks drive down as well. That's a saltwater solution that they do spray on the road to help with ice formulation. I also want to make note that I have talked with the Jasper Newton Electric Co-op. They have updated their numbers. There's an increase in power outages in the Jasper area in North Lakes region. They say that more than 4,500 meters are out at this time. That's also due to a lot of ice accumulation on these power lines. You can see some ice hanging down, and that's also weighing on the trees as well. And that's a big problem as you see the ice accumulation on those tree branches. If I do turn it around over here, you can see some of these trees, they actually are weighing down. And you can see those branches right here they're hanging down, they're hanging low, they're getting very heavy from all that ice that is forming. And that's causing a problem because some of the taller trees, they do snap. We've been hearing a lot of branches snapping, trees snapping. I've heard lots of pops. I'm assuming it's probably transformers. But those branches, when they do snap and they're taller trees, those branches fall onto those lines, and that's causing some power outages and some problems for the Jasper area. I was told that a good majority of those outages in Jasper County are coming from the city of Jasper. And just down the road, we were told a couple of minutes ago that they're out of power down the road over there. But again, I do want to make note that there are a lot of cars out today. I'm just going to turn it back around over here. But yes, we're out on 190. There are lots of cars out, and it's very important to make sure that you are driving with caution if you do have to get out. And make sure that if you are getting out, it's only for emergencies. Stay home just in case you do hit some of those slick spots on the road. But right now, conditions, that looks like they were clearing up a little bit earlier. I thought I saw the sun peeking out, but now it's back to the gloominess that we saw earlier this morning. And the rain has stopped, the sleet has stopped, and we haven't seen any of that in the past 30 minutes. But just make sure that you guys are staying warm, staying safe, and back to you guys in the studio.
So it looks miserable out there. You sound cold. It's a good reason to stay inside this morning if you have to. All right, taking a look now at the not the Entergy map. I'm sorry about that. That is the Jasper Newton Electric Co-op map that we're looking at right now. The most impacted areas that we've been watching this morning have been there in the lakes. There are 4,500 outages between Jasper and Newton counties that have been growing all morning. And in Tyler County, more than 1,800 homes and businesses without power right now, including all of Comanille, Spurger, and as well as parts of Hillister and Warren. So let's go ahead and take a live look now, and you can see, looking back at Jasper right there, you can see those slushy conditions we see out there. A lot of school districts like Beaumont ISD, they've also already announced closures for tomorrow. You'll see a list of those schools rolling at the bottom of your screen here, but you'll also be able to scan this QR code right here on your screen to download our app, or even text the word closures to 409-838-1212 for a full list. We've been updating them throughout the week. Let's go ahead and take another look at the forecast. Well, first, Jasper ISD is one of those closures. We also have another vantage point from Jasper, and Holton Pepper has traded sports for weather this morning. Holton, how's it looking out there?
Well, Mark, you had mentioned kind of the fact about how we've had a lot of outages, obviously, in this area, Tyler County, Newton County, and obviously over here in Jasper, there's a lot of outages, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to start running my own camera here so I can kind of show you a few things. So right now, what you're looking at, this view over here, this is the power line. Earlier this morning, we saw a power line hit the top of this this power pole here and send a shockwave. Obviously, we heard it from out front. And it was a pretty massive burst of power that we saw. It kind of startled Spencer. It was pretty funny, but obviously everyone was safe. There was no one around, but a lot of that has to do with it. But then if you check over here, I wanted to show this as well. On the ground, you can see these tree limbs. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier this morning. When I was talking about with Patrick, and obviously Jeff has mentioned it as well, talking about how cold it is out here, at the fact that these tree limbs are literally just snapping because of how cold these temperatures and how rigid they are. There is a cause for concern over here. This tree right here. Oh, there's one popping just over here. Now I heard it just a second ago. It just popped while I was on. I'm playing a play-by-play out here. We got trees popping all over the place, but this over here, there's a good chance that this one is going to fall as well. You can see it start to sway a little bit over here. The ice, it's real heavy, obviously, real heavy ice that just sits on the top of these leaves, on the top of these limbs, and it causes that strafe, obviously. The roads out here in Jasper, they're starting, I mean, they look okay. For all things considered, as bad and as heavy as the weather has been out here, it really isn't that bad. Now, the problem is going to be tonight, obviously. And I know that our meteorologists are working hard to kind of just talk about and detail some of those things, but the roads, that's what's going to be the issue tonight. Because right now, we have I think it's about 32, 33 or so up here, and it feels like 21. It feels like negative 30 to me because I'm, East Texas boy. But the roads are going to be horrible tonight because there's a lot of standing water, obviously, on the roads. That ice has really started If it hasn't fully solidified, if it started to melt a little bit, it's supposed to get up to about 38 out here in Jasper, and that's going to cause obviously a lot of melting to take place on the roads. And of course, we know what happens next because it's going to drop drastically. I was looking at it just a little while ago, and after sundown, which sun's up, but you can't see it, but after sundown, there's going to be a massive drop in temperature. It's going to get down into the 20s, the lower 20s at that, about 24 degrees or so. And of course, the biggest issue of that is going to be black ice. And the black ice on the roads causes serious driving cautions and hazards, and it hinders a lot of traveling capabilities. And it basically makes places like bridges and these kinds of roads out here, these highways, especially 190 over here, it makes these roads almost undrivable entirely. Bound to not even see drivable conditions until maybe noon tomorrow, Monday afternoon. But yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's an ever-changing situation. I'm just waiting for this tree to go down. It's bound to go down at some point. A lot of limbs are breaking, and we can hear it probably every other 20 seconds or so. And breakers, obviously, transformers, we've heard a few pop this morning. So a lot going on in Jasper, and I'm sure across several counties as well. For now, though, Mark, I'm going to send it back to you in the studio.
All right, Holt, now we understand why we're seeing power outages up there. And moving along now, we are continuing to follow some of that breaking news. It's happening in Nederland right now, where the 7th Street Baptist Church is on fire. Crews, they have been out there since around 6 a.m. trying to put out the flames. And that's where we find 12 News reporter Cameron Burchett right now. Cameron, what's it looking like out there? Looks very smoky in your shot there.
It definitely is very smoky, Mark, and 3 different agencies have come in to join Nederland to fight this fire at the 7th Street Baptist Church. That's Groves, Port Neches, and Port Arthur have all come in to fight this fire, which, as you can see, is still going on because of all of this smoke. It has been going on since 6:30 this morning, and crews have been working tirelessly to put out this fire. Nederland Police Chief Rod Carroll tells 12 News that crews were called out to the fire around 6:30 this morning after reports of smoke coming from the roof. And luckily, according to a post the church made on Facebook, it says everyone is safe. However, some areas of Nederland Avenue are blocked while crews remain working to put out the fire, so please avoid that area. Again, this is the 7th Street Baptist Church in Nederland after it caught fire this morning at 6:30. Right now, there's no answer to what could have caused the fire, but we're going to continue to keep you updated so far. But 12 News was able to speak with Pastor Kevin McWilliams while he waited while his church continued to burn.
There's so many different ministries our church does for the community. We love Nederland, and I'm sorry. My thought process.
If you can't,
I'm kind of still in shock from it all.
The pastor promises to rebuild the 7th Street Baptist Church, a church he says has been around since 1954. And again, as you can see right there behind me, crews are continuing to fight this fire. We don't have any information on what could have caused the fire and what could have started this blaze around 6:30 this morning. But again, we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn more about this developing situation. Live in Nederland, Cameron Burchett, 12 News.
All right, Cameron, tough news there for that congregation in Nederland this morning. Thank you so much. Well, let's go ahead and check in with Chief Meteorologist Patrick Vaughn. Patrick, how's those road conditions out there?
Well, right now it is passable up and towards Jasper County. You just need to be careful on the bridges and overpasses. It's a little slushy. We've seen worse. However, once we get to late tonight, all this slush is going to ice over, and that's when we're going to have problems coming up tomorrow morning as this all freezes up across the lakes area. That's where we think the worst of the icing will occur coming up tomorrow morning, mainly up in the lakes area. I think we'll be fine here in the Triangle. It's just our friends up on Highway 190. This view courtesy of Proval's, part of the roofing 911 Skycam network. So the precipitation is moving out, and it looks like 2 long duration hard freezes expected as we head towards Monday and Tuesday mornings. Continued cold as we work on into midweek, but dry. Scattered showers coming up on Friday, and more cold weather is possible next weekend. As you can see, the precipitation moving out. We're stuck at about 32 to 34, 35 across southeast Texas, and lots of clouds out there. Current wind chills are in the low to mid and upper 20s across southeast Texas. but it is single digits from Abilene, Wichita Falls, Oklahoma City, back over to Amarillo. It is currently 14 into Dallas, 32 into Houston, 23 into San Antonio. Factor in the wind, and you've got wind chills, teens below zero up towards Oklahoma City. Childress, Abilene, and Amarillo all at around 10 degrees below zero is what the actual wind chill shows. And as you can see, this is quickly moving off towards the east. Look how the clouds are moving towards the south, so it looks like a gray afternoon. I don't think we'll see any sun this afternoon. Maybe we could see some, but this activity over towards our West Texas area will weaken as it heads our way. Regardless, not a lot of change coming up except for this precipitation moving out. Do we see any peaks of sun? It's possible. Then again, maybe not. So we go maybe around freezing. We may be seeing the warmest temperatures of the day up in the lakes area right now. And here in the Triangle, by 5 p.m., temperatures will start falling very quickly, especially after sunset. We'll be talking about temperatures falling well into the 20s, even the upper teens up in the lakes area. So I think we're at our warmest right now, maybe the mid-30s in through, say, back over towards Port Arthur, 34, 35, maybe in Beaumont, and around freezing or thereabouts up in the lakes area. Cloudy to mostly cloudy, windy or at least breezy, and cold expected. So tomorrow morning, it is not recommended that you travel up into Tyler, northern Jasper, northern Newton counties. I think you're going to be fine in Lumberton, probably Silsbee, and all in the Triangle. These are the wind chills across southeast Texas tomorrow morning. This is going to be pretty cold for our area, as teens are very common across the area, maybe the low teens up in the lakes, mid to upper teens in the Triangle. And actually, tomorrow morning we'll see maybe as much as 27 hours below freezing up in the lakes area, and that's including today, and 19 hours inland southeast Texas. That's included today into tomorrow, because I think we'll get above freezing coming up tomorrow afternoon. And in the Triangle, about 14 hours. So these are long duration, hard freezes across southeast Texas. I expect lows to be into the upper teens in the lakes area, lower and middle 20s here in the Triangle. Oh, but wait, there's more. After high temperatures tomorrow get above freezing, as sunny skies return, we will see another long duration freeze in the lakes area, inland southeast Texas, and the Triangle. Anywhere between 13 to 19 hours expected as we head towards Tuesday morning. This will be the coldest one, 13 to 15 up in the lakes area Tuesday morning, and probably the upper teens and lower 20s. I think that's a little cold. We'll go with the upper teens and lower 20s coming up Tuesday morning. You've got to take care of your pipes coming up tonight. Drip or turn off your water. Be careful heating your homes, because these are going to be pipe busters. So be careful heating your homes. Make sure that you are also taking care of your pets. Bring them in, pipes, plants, cover them or bring them in. But again, we're very concerned about people heating their homes. Please be careful heating your homes with those space heaters, and of course, take care of your pipes. So taking a look at your weather impact 7-day forecast, we're going to go with the mid-30s today. So tomorrow, upper teens and lower 20s. The sun returns. All this will melt coming up Monday afternoon. I think we'll get at least into the mid-30s in the lakes area, maybe the upper 30s, and close to about 40 here in the Triangle on your Monday. Tuesday is the coldest morning, with temperatures dropping into the mid-teens in the lakes, upper teens and lower 20s Triangle. We're up to 47. The clouds kind of keeping temperatures down on Tuesday. And then Wednesday and Thursday, wow, look at that. We get into the 50s for highs, but still light freezes, at least here in Beaumont, Wednesday and Thursday morning. Scattered showers return to the forecast coming up on Friday. We'll give it a 40% shot. And then as we head on into Saturday, it's back to cold weather across southeast Texas, as temperatures will be back into the lower 40s for highs and lows back into the 20s coming up next Saturday. So the bottom line is that most areas are passable as far as driving right now. Just watch the bridges and overpasses in the lakes area. So I think we're good there. It's overnight. That's when all that is going to be refreezing up in the lakes area.
Right.
We do not expect things to be that situation here in the Triangle, because the drier air is filtering on in. A lot of times that is licked up and evaporated. It's called sublimation, but it should be dry along the roadways here in the Triangle tomorrow morning.
If you happen to be a plant worker that lives up that way, tomorrow morning's commute, it might not be a good one.
Well, getting from up there down to here.
That's what I mean by that. Yeah.
I think we'll be fine here in the Triangle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So certainly be safe. How long is it going to be potentially for treacherous roads, because you need to have that sun come up?
Right, tomorrow afternoon I think we're going to be fine.
That's the safe. I'll tell you what's surprising me here. We're looking at 4,500 power outages right now between Jasper and Newton, and then over in Tyler I think there's another 1,500. And we're getting reports of trees and tree limbs coming down. It doesn't seem like that much ice.
But you have to remember, it weighs on those tree limbs.
Even a little.
This is very similar to what we had in 1997 here in Beaumont. It was very localized in Jefferson and Orange counties. Not as bad as it was in 1997 here in Jefferson and Orange counties up in the Lakes area, but very common sound. You hear the limb crack, and then it falls and hits the power the line, and
that's all it takes.
Power, transformers and things like that.
Absolutely. I'm really glad that you're also bringing up another important safety message this morning: fire safety, carbon monoxide safety. It seems like whenever it gets cold, ice storm or not, those fires, they increase. And space heaters.
We lose homes.
Yeah, we lose people sometimes.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So by all means, keep those batteries in your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Don't be using your oven and things like that to heat yourself. I know sometimes.
Space heaters, lots of space between anything combustible.
Absolutely. All right, Patrick. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to take another look here at the we're taking another look here at the Jasper Newton Electrical Co-op map here. The most impacted areas that we've been seeing so far are in the lakes.
That goes all the way up to Zavala. That's
Yep.
up 63. I was just there last weekend camping at Boykin and Danby. Danby's out of power there.
Yeah, wow. And as you go further north, it's just more of that, I'm
Exactly.
sure. I mean, this has been such a massive storm that has impacted so much of Texas right here, and we seem to be right on the cusp of it, so for the most part here. So in many ways, we're a little bit fortunate down here in the Triangle, and we're thinking about the people there up in the lakes area. And just one more look. All right, we're moving on to some breaking news. New developments right now from Nederland, where crews have made good progress in knocking down the fire at the 7th Street Baptist Church. They have been there since around 6 a.m. So let's go ahead and check back in with 12 News reporter Cameron Burchett. Cameron, how are things looking out there right now? Still looking pretty smoky out there.
Hey, Mark, yeah, conditions haven't necessarily improved. That is still very, very smoky here on 7th Street in Nederland, where right behind me you have crews that are continuing to fight the 7th Street Baptist Church fire. We now have 3 crews still on scene: Port Arthur, Port Neches, and Groves Fire, all joining Nederland's efforts to put out the fire. As you can see right here behind me, it is still quite a massive operation going on right now, with crews still trying to find those hot spots and hit them hard and hit them fast, because that is of utmost importance. Again, it is a massive fire. Nederland Police Chief Rod Carroll tells 12 News that crews were dispatched out to the fire around 6:30 this morning after reports of smoke coming from the roof. Luckily, according to a post the church made on Facebook, it says everyone is safe. However, some areas of Nederland Avenue are blocked off while crews remain working to put out the fire, so please avoid those areas. Pastor Kevin McWilliams spoke to 12 News as he waited while his church continues to burn.
There's so many different ministries our church does for the community. We love Nederland, and I'm sorry. My thought process. I'm kind of still in shock from it all.
The pastor promises to rebuild the 7th Street Baptist Church, a church he says has been around since 1954. Again, as you can see, these crews are continuing to fight the fires right here behind me. Those crews are Groves, Nederland, Port Neches, and Port Arthur, all working together in conjunction to put out this massive church fire, which again is 7th Street Baptist Church.